Hello and welcome to Y Space.
Hey y'all,
How's it going?
it is going well.
I just want to note for the audio that you are bright.
Thank you.
Your
I think I
lighting
got
is
this light fixed.
spectacular. Did you get that from
Marvelous.
Kim
So bright.
Kardashian?
Listen, maybe just makes me look like I don't have any wrinkles, which is nice.
Yeah. Yeah, these
All
are no
of the-
filters. This is all natural beauty here, folks. We don't have any
right?
filters.
There's no filter here. It's just a good day. That's what it is.
So we are changing a bit of our recording pattern
Yes.
because we realized, well, first of all, I was on a trip and that took some time.
That's right.
But also, we just realized we were a little like it was getting confusing. We're talking about
For us.
football, and the game's already happened, and so we're just changing things up.
Yeah.
But the entertainment world has given us a lot of content.
Ooh, they are busy in
So
their
it's actually
season.
probably good that we're recording a little later than we normally would, because even more. There is a one young man named Sean Combs,
Yes.
P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, Diddy, any of the above.
Apparently
For
answers to all.
those of you, Laura, who live under a rock, Becca, would you like to give a little brief synopsis of what has happened to Diddy?
Yeah, so we had a while back where his home had been raided by the FBI. They had taken a whole bunch of computers and hard drives and obviously security camera footage and those kind of things. That happened a while back. And of course, there was allegations and rumors going around of what possibly the reason could be. But then nothing ever came from it. He was never arrested. There were never charges brought against him. I believe they also raided his New York home. And again, nothing came from it. But we just recently he's been charged with quite a few crimes, and he has been arrested in New York. Not only was he arrested, but he is in jail, no bail.
Yeah.
No bail.
Yeah, I think they knew he would flee, which
I mean, passport, private plane, even if you take his passport, I wouldn't.
yeah.
It's, depending on what he knows and what, is coming down the pipeline for him, you just got to make sure. So I'm sure I'm sure he thought he was going to go in, get his picture taken, be booked, be charged, pay his fee, and then go home and wait this out. But it says he will be there until trial. And I haven't seen anywhere, but I also haven't dug too deep. I don't even know if a trial date's listed. I feel like it's probably too early for that.
Yeah, I would think so.
Because they're having to do discovery and evidence and all the things.
Yeah, I mean, I was with a group of people this weekend and we talked a lot about this. There's a lot of people implicated with this. This is not just a Diddy situation. And we've heard a lot of names mentioned in the media, but there's some names too that people outside of the entertainment world. TD Jakes, if you're not familiar with him, he's a mega church pastor, whatever you want to say, evangelist. I don't know what you call it these days.
Yeah.
People like him. Jay-Z, just a lot of names. So a lot of names are going to come out that we haven't even heard yet. It'll be interesting for sure.
I think because of who he was and how long he was in the industry, like he had his hands in a lot of things. And so unfortunately, I think that there are going to be a lot of names that come out in this that were associated with him for actual business reasons.
Yeah.
But listen, until we have clarity on exactly everything, everybody's kind of in the same bucket right now of what did you know? Are you implicated in this? Is he going to sing like a songbird and try and get himself off easy? Is he going to go down and take everybody's secrets? I just don't think he would. But we'll see. It depends on how deep this goes and how much evidence they have found.
Well, and I think too, it feels like this arrest has been a long time coming for at least several months. And so I think that tells me there was a lot to dig through from an evidence perspective. I think he'll sing like a songbird because he doesn't seem like somebody who wants to spend time in jail. He'd rather be on his little jet skis in Miami. But I think that even that will probably, if there's any ounce of truth to all the stuff that's been speculated on, he'll still do some amount of time. But I think the people that are implicated, I think a lot more of them are going to sing and turn state's evidence. Like guys like Jay-Z is not going to go to jail. If he can avoid it. So he's going to tell on everybody and anybody. And there's just no telling how far-fetched, like how far-reaching this whole thing could get. I mean, there's some political people implicated.
Yeah, it's
like the Jeffrey Epstein of like the entertainment world.
Well, and it goes back to Tupac, like allegations of that.
Yeah.
So
I'm hoping this is how I'm going to find out Tupac's really not dead. I mean,
he's just been in like witness protection this whole time.
Aaron and I argue about that all the time because I always say Tupac's not really dead. So just saying it could happen. But no, yeah, they say that he may have been behind some of that stuff. I mean,
I did find it interesting that obviously his lawyers were aware these charges were coming. Mm-hmm. He was arrested at a hotel in New York.
Now, I had heard that, like I just read this somewhere. No one has contacted me. I'm not in the know, but I had read that he had actually come to New York to do like a statement. Like he knew he was coming in.
Okay.
Not even like the way I read it was like not to be interrogated or even anything like that, but to just give a statement.
Okay.
So I don't know if that was their ploy to get him there.
I was just saying, did they?
And kind of like ambushed him. It's sort of the way I read it. But I believe based on what I read that his attorneys were like, yeah, you got to come to New York, make this statement. And I think they were all assuming make this and go on about your business and they'll keep investigating. But I think that the way I read it, it seems that the feds had more and were ready. And they were like, well,
because I thought, why would your lawyers not have like taken you themselves to go do booking and all of that?
Yeah. So, but they were pretty much like turn in the yacht keys. We're done here. Right. I don't know. It'll be really interesting to see and this is not something we're going to know in the next months. Like, I feel like this is going to really drag on and, half of what you read is not true. But
we'll be interested to see if it goes to trial or if he tries to take a plea deal and it just goes.
Well, based on the charges that are being mentioned, I don't think there's a way he could. I mean, he may avoid trial on some of it, but some of the stuff being mentioned, there's not a way to avoid a trial. I don't think.
Okay. I didn't know if he could just plead guilty and then we bypass the trial and we go straight to sentencing for that.
Because, and I am actually not a lawyer, so.
Okay. Well, I thought you would know all the judicial laws here. Okay.
Yeah. And I don't have a WebMD for legal stuff. So this is just my surmising. No, but I think when it comes to human trafficking, especially if there are ever children implicated, that there's like not a way around a trial.
Okay.
I think because of the underage aspect to some of this stuff, there's not a way. I think I remember learning that because of the Epstein stuff.
Okay.
Because some of that could have been not sequestered, but not decoded, whatever the word is, where it's like, you read a document and it's marked through.
Yep. And I can't think of it now.
So anyway, God, what I can't think of a word.
Is that
redacted? Redacted.
Redacted, not didacted.
Some of it can be redacted and some of it can't. And it has
words.
And this is professional right here.
Oh gosh.
But yeah, I think it'll be interesting. I also wonder what's going to happen with his boys because they're adults too now. So, I'm not shocked because I think I always assume that all celebrities have some bit of scandal to them. I think what I'm most
so far-reaching that it seems a little eek.
Well, I think what I'm most surprised about too is like, how did it go this long? I mean, because Diddy's been an entity for 30 years?
Well, but I think it's one of those things. People have made allegations for so long or said things in passing, but you're not making formal statements. You're not going to the authorities. You're not providing evidence. So really, their hands are tied on so much of that until someone makes some kind of plausible claim that maybe there's a little bit of oomph behind it.
I think that's definitely an aspect of it. Unfortunately, with this, I also think a large aspect of it is there's so many people involved.
That's true.
Like, I'm not talking because I don't want, the only person, however, that is not apparently going to be implicated is apparently 50 Cent because No one is coming for Diddy like 50 is. Like,
Mm-hmm.
he was on Drew Barrymore last week and was like, said something about, well, yeah, I'm here because I'm not busy doing blah, blah, blah with Diddy. Like, I mean, he must be clean as a whistle.
I was going to say, I think he probably heard enough stories or saw one thing and was like, I am not attaching myself to you, and has steered clear. So again, it's one of those things where maybe he had heard rumblings, but he didn't truly have evidence. So it's
I think that there's something about, like, isn't his baby mama like one of the people implicated? So I think, petty bitter feelings there too. But did you notice too, Usher is also implicated in a lot of this? And did you see that his social media got wiped?
So did Kesha's.
But you know what else is interesting? Did you see Usher's post today on Twitter?
No, I haven't.
So today he came out on Twitter and said, "Oh, my social media got hacked. Y'all are just being crazy." Are we, sir?
These celebrities need better PR firms that give
better. Could be making a fortune right now.
You guys have got to do better.
Well, the Keisha thing is interesting to me because, she had that waking up like P. Diddy line in her music. But then remember at Coachella, she took it out because things were rumbling. And then, now her social is. So I'm like, you too?
Yeah. It'll be interesting for sure. What all comes up, what we actually are even made aware of, and what gets kept secret. I'll be interested if this goes to trial. Will it be televised? Are we going to see any of this?
Well, we could only hope.
I know. Listen, I'm going to have to go on sabbatical from my job.
I'm going to need FMLA, something. Schedule a procedure, something's going to have to happen.
I'm going to need some time off.
Yeah, I don't know. It'll be very interesting. But we also had another celebrity.
Yes.
Who caused a bit of a kerfluffle on the social medias. We have spoken about this gentleman before. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, we've also had someone come for us before for not being a fan. Haven't we?
I think so.
Y'all just
have. Listen, they steer clear of my DMs. Maybe I give off.
You don't know me. Y'all don't know me. I will come for you.
That's right.
Listen.
I'll read it and be like, okay, well, that's a thought. And then I'll go about my day.
Yeah. Y'all don't know what you're messing with is all I'm saying.
Get Mandy in the right mood. She'll respond.
Yeah. And just note for the audio, this is not the time in life to be coming for me. But Mr. Zach Bryan, who we have talked about before, because he is not without controversy. He's not correct. He's had a couple of incidents, but he decided to go on social media this past week and make an ass of himself.
Mm-hmm.
I know the last part of the tweet, but can you tell us the tweet again?
So it was a very simplistic tweet. It just said, listen, there was no capitalization used, so my English heart was not okay. But it said Eagles greater than sign Chiefs. And then it said Kanye greater than sign Taylor Swift.
Mm-hmm.
I said, what are we doing? And he was like, well, for a while. You didn't have any drama right now, sir. You were doing well for yourself.
Yeah. And didn't go well.
No. Two fan bases that just, why?
Listen, if there are two fan bases in the world you don't want to mess with, it's the Swifties and the Eagles fans. This weekend in New Orleans, the Saints played the Eagles. We're going to talk about that game in a minute. My best friend's husband was down in New Orleans for the game. He said walking Bourbon Street, he had never seen so much green. Like, that fan base is rabid. Like, you just they're
hardcore.
Yeah. And so, but here's the thing. Eagles fans love the Chiefs because everyone loves the Kelsey brothers.
Right.
And if an Eagles fan is going to cheer for any other team, they're cheering for the Chiefs.
100%.
And the Swifties, like, where you at, bro? Like, you put out an album that couldn't even get in the top 5. Like, okay. So
it makes you wonder, so he did come out after the fact, like a day or two later, and did like a 3-page post that, like a really dysfunctional ex-boyfriend would do when they break up with someone. Mm-hmm. It was basically, I was drunk. I'm going through something in life. This was just how I reacted. Okay. Well, when you're going through something difficult in life, your first thing is to disrespect a woman and disrespect a fan base that you know nothing about in NFL. that was your go-to move. But also the fact that you gave so much detail and so many words in that tells me we're really trying to make up some ground, because we thought it was just going to get us attention, but it actually got us some hate.
Yeah. You know, it's funny because I saw his statement, apology, whatever. I didn't even really take it as an apology. I took it more as an excuse. And that's something that grates my nerves too. Like, if you do something, just own it. Like, I don't need to know your why behind you being an idiot. Just, hey, I was an idiot. Own up to it.
Yeah.
I think one thing that people need to realize, and go ahead, my DMs are still open. Because I know I'm going to get something about this, but Zach Bryan has proven multiple times that he does not make intelligent decisions. Okay. Like the kerfluffle he got in Oklahoma with the police, all of this, like he just makes decisions. And I mean, you're dating Brianna Chicken Fry, whatever bless her last name is, La Paglia or whatever. And I realize she's very popular with certain people. Like, you don't make the best decisions, my friend. And so, but you have a good career. You're doing well for yourself. There are people who love you. Yeah. Like, lean into that. And to say like you're going through something, I guess Zach Bryan and I have a few differences in life. Just a couple. But like, for instance, like, I'm going through something in life. I'm not going to get online and like just make a random post about just like something out of thin blue air, because it's not like Zach's content on social media is typically even about the Eagles or Kanye or any of that. Like it was very out of left field anyway.
Those aren't even in your same like genre
brand. Like I'll be honest, when I first read it, I instantly thought he's hammered, because if you follow any of their content, he and Brianna both are always 19 sheets to the wind.
Yes.
So I assumed that. But like, again, and we talked about this weekend on my trip I was on, and you and I have talked about this. These people who are rich and famous, where are your people? And where are your friends?
Well, and I just think, where's your common sense?
Like, and why would you ever risk losing? And I guess maybe that's the difference. I don't have his fame or his wealth, so I don't have anything to lose, really. But like, if I did, I would protect that with my life, not go make some asinine comment that has no bearing on, like, neither, like, Kanye and Taylor are not in competition with Zach Bryan.
No.
I mean, I think Zach's people thought that his album was going to trump Tortured Poets when it came out. But not only did it not do that, I mean, it didn't even trump Chapel Rowan. I mean, and she's like barely something. So, like, really, you're going to take down
one of those things where, like, I'm a nobody, and I still think before I post, repost, or like something.
I mean, I try to think.
Right? But I at least think about it. And again, I'm nobody to anyone.
Right.
I just can't fathom being a celebrity and knowing that people are looking for, what is she liking? What is she posting? And I'm not giving it 2 seconds or getting drunk and be like, maybe I'll stay off social media today. Like, I don't understand why you have to go for another celebrity and you can't just live life based on your own accolades, your own performance, your own artistry. Why do you need to attack somebody else? Because at the end of the day, it's jealousy is what that is. At the end of the day, with the NFL thing, you're just going for rumblings, trying to get some traction.
Yeah. And I'm like, the Eagles' arch rival is not the Chiefs.
No.
And so if you're a true Eagles fan, like, shouldn't you post about their real rival, which is not the Chiefs? I just think it's so weird. But also, like, where are your people? Where are your friends? You obviously have an issue controlling your alcohol, because every incident he's got into with the law has been, he was intoxicated.
Yeah.
And then this happens. And I'm just like, where are your friends to step in and say, hey, bro, like.
Or your management that says, you know what, I think we're going to take over your socials right now. We're just going to keep them professional socials.
Yeah. But he does this. He'll leave. I guarantee you, he may have already done it. He will get off social media. He does it all the time.
Twitter.
He does it all the time. Like, he'll say something stupid and deactivate. And it's like, if you know you have this pattern,
right?
I'm real interested to see, and I don't listen to the BFFs podcast, but I do catch a lot of it on TikTok with Dave Portnoy and his girlfriend Chicken Fry, which I don't know why we call her that, but I'm interested to see what she says about it. I'm sure it'll be something that makes me get a headache from rolling my eyes, but like, yeah, just I don't know. Okay, so let me ask you this: you got two fan bases. Who would you be like? I don't know how to word this. Who's the worst fan base to come for, the Eagles or the Swifties?
I'm going to say the Swifties.
Yeah.
I think the Eagles enough to be like, what an idiot. And a few of them will say something, but the Swifties are not going to let you live that one down.
No. And they're very active. Very active.
How long ago did Kanye do what Kanye did? And we're still talking about it in the year of our Lord 2024.
And hey, listen, I don't care if you don't like Taylor Swift and her music and you think she's into witch and witchcraft stuff and you're dumb because you think that. I don't care if that's where you're at in life, but let me tell you something. If you're taking Kanye West's side on anything over Taylor Swift, you're a bigger idiot than I could have imagined.
We got bigger fish to fry. That's the problem.
There is medication and there are therapists out there for you, my friend. Like,
oh my gosh.
Yeah. But speaking of witches and witchcraft, let's talk about Taylor.
Let's talk about Taylor.
Well, Taylor talk, our girl.
She's still on break from tour.
She's on break. We did get a little pap walk this weekend in New York with our girl Gigi.
We did. It's fun.
Listen, if Taylor ever declines in the music career, what she needs to do is start doing like workout videos, because did you see how incredible her body looked in that pap walk before she put the trench coat on?
Listen, I put her straight on a runway.
I was like, she had, it wasn't a full midriff. It was more of like a, I don't, listen, here comes my fashion technical. Yeah. Maybe like 2 inches of, I mean, ripped. Like,
I would like to think I also would look that great in that outfit.
It's just because I can't afford that skirt. That's it.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all. Don't worry. You got it. Yeah. No, she went out to dinner at the corner store with Gigi. Gigi also is beautiful as always, but I'm real ready for Gigi's hair to grow back out.
I was going to say, I need her hair to grow out. Listen, I also kind of need Taylor to find a straightener and maybe a trim.
You want it straight.
I don't. I think I could do the curls on the long, but she's got the bangs that she also lets dry naturally, and I can't.
Oh, you didn't like that?
I can't 100% get behind that.
Well, that's odd. Well, not odd, because here's a good note. Y'all, we are not the same person, because I was actually going to say I thought her hair looked phenomenal.
Okay, there you go. Listen.
No, yeah, so they went to dinner, but that's all we got to see of Taylor this weekend. She did not make an appearance at the Chiefs game.
Yeah, I was upset by that, but it's fine. She's got a life. She's not going to go to all the away games.
So, as my common phrase, I heard, maybe I need to put that on merch too. People are stupid. What are we doing? And I heard it had to do with the amount of suites that were allocated to the Chiefs.
Which makes sense. I think she ran into that last year as well.
Yes, because also if you noticed, other than Patrick's wife, Brittany, I don't know why I said it like that, like I don't know her name. That was real weird. All the other wives who are normally like in a suite with people, they were in the stands.
Yep.
So I'm guessing we might have had some security concerns there. That's what I heard. So, we'll see.
We'll go with that.
But we had a listener question, and normally we save questions for the end, but because we are on break from the Eras Tour and because she did make it to the Chiefs game, we thought we would use a listener question that we have just gotten to spur a little Taylor talk.
Yeah.
This is from Michelle. And this is a 6-part question, as you all do. I appreciate that you all combine questions because you think I won't look at every message. You can put in multiple ones. You don't have to put it all in one sentence. It's fine.
Listen, we get to pick and choose what we're going to answer anyway.
Yeah. And there's a few of y'all that have put in a lot of questions that I refuse to answer. So, anyway. Michelle said, what 3 questions would you ask Taylor about Travis? And what 3 questions would you ask Travis about Taylor? Then you also said nothing is off limits. which
Listen, it's never off limits
I
for
was
us.
going to say, you listen to this podcast. Like, appreciate the note for the audio, but we knew that. All right, let's start with you. Give me your 3 that you would ask Taylor about Travis. Let's start there.
Okay, so I'm going to ask Taylor, how did you know that he was different than the other guys that you dated? Looks aside, because obviously he doesn't look like
sir.
Typically English man. What's the one thing that won you over? Because Travis has been on record as saying, like, when she went to the first game and she walked in with his friends and regular security and didn't make a big deal, that like was a big deal to him. And then my third one is, what is your favorite thing to do as just a normal couple? Like when you guys just get to be a couple and you're not Taylor and Travis, what's your favorite thing to do?
Those are good.
Because that always spawns on extra conversations. Listen, I'm a nosy best friend. I want to know everything.
Oh, yeah. Listen, I mean, you said 3 questions and about 48 hit my brain. So
right. I'm still asking about the first kiss. I'm still asking about phone calls and text messages.
Yeah.
Listen.
Yeah, I want to know, please spare no detail is what I would say.
Right, yeah. Nothing's off limits when you're answering me.
Yeah, yeah. I love those questions, and mine are kind of similar. So the one thing I wanted to know if I was talking to Taylor, or I'm sorry, when I talked to Taylor.
Yes.
I want to know, what was like the first thing, like, when you met Travis, not when you started talking to him or like heard about him, anything, like what was the first thing when you like first spent time together with him? What was the thing that you were like most attracted to?
And why was it the eyes?
Was it the sense of humor? Was it the eyes? Like, what was it? Like, what is it? The second thing I actually want to ask Taylor about Travis is, what is the hardest part about their relationship?
Oh, that's
like,
good.
Is it the career stuff? Is it the like, differences in not intellect, but like, I don't know where I'm going with that, but you know what I mean? Just like, what makes it
career field?
Or is it just simply like, hey, you both are like 2 of the busiest people on the planet?
Right.
And then my third thing I would like to ask Taylor is, what do you think would be the best like avenue business decisions for Travis post NFL? Like, what do you think he would be the best at after he's a player? Is it commentating? Is it acting? Okay. Is it like entrepreneur stuff? Like, what do you see him best at outside of the football field?
Oh, I like that.
Because I feel like she's really insightful about people.
Yes.
I've heard that she has, like, with her friends, has encouraged them in a lot of the different business ventures that they get into. Because like with Blake Lively, for instance, I've heard that she has like told Blake things before, like she's good about calling out what she sees as strengths in her friends, and then they lean into it in a business perspective. I've heard that she did that with Selena with Rare Beauty. And so I just think it would be interesting
to have a friend that
I was going to say. I mean, I've got a lot of really great friends, but I could still use some more, Taylor. Bring it on.
Right.
Help me find myself, Taylor. Help me. Okay. So what are the 3 questions you would ask Trav about Taylor?
Okay. So here's what we're going to ask Travis. Do you ever feel less intelligent around Taylor?
Okay.
Honest question, because I
would.
I mean, my gosh.
Yeah.
So, what is the most surprising thing about Taylor to him? Because I think we could all pick something, but like to know her on a personal level, what's the thing that surprises you the most? And then what is your favorite gift that Taylor's ever gotten you?
Oh, that's
and then list out every gift she's ever gotten you.
And then I'm going to need him to know everything.
Right. I need to know.
Also, sorry, I got a dog stuck in a cord currently.
Listen, I've got a dog behind me that's breathing like a geriatric patient that lost his oxygen tubes. I don't know what's happening.
We're good. I was only concerned because I don't know how he just got roped into the router. So I thought I was going to lose us here. Speaking of who's intelligent and who's not. This little fella. Oh, okay. I had the hardest time with what I would ask Trav about Taylor. First one I had is, what is the thing that first attracted you to Taylor that is not something physical?
Okay.
Secondly, I wanted to know similar to what you were asking about the intellect thing, but are you ever intimidated by her?
Oh,
and like her world and all of that? And then third, I wanted to know what was your friend's like first reaction after spending time with her? Like, what was their feedback?
Oh, I like that.
I would love to know, not the first reaction when he's like, "Hey guys, I'm talking to Taylor Swift." I don't want to hear they're like, "Oh my God." I don't want to hear that. I want to hear like that. Maybe it was that first game. I don't know if that was the first time she spent time with him. I feel like that's what I've read, but like they hung out with her for the first time. What was their feedback? Were they like, "Bro, are you sure?" Or were they like, "This is it"?
Yeah. Listen, Tree, if you want to get us in contact with him, we can ask him in person. It's fine.
DMs are open.
Right.
I'll put my cell phone number on here if it's for Tree Payne's, all I'm saying. But that's a great question, Michelle. We probably could do a whole episode of what we would ask them. Becca knows this. I do get very concerned when I don't get to see them together very often because I will not survive if things go south with them. And so it's got me a little worried that she's not been in Kansas City as much as I thought she was going to be, and at least knowingly, and she wasn't at the game. But I'm going to choose to think that we didn't make the VMA comments.
Right.
And we've got problems. Surely not.
No. I think we're fine. Life is just busy right now. I think we're fine.
If you're sure, but we're not even on tour. How is it so busy? But okay. But because we didn't see Taylor at the game last night, there are some people on social media that think that something else is wrong too, because our boy Trav is not really having a Trav-like season so far.
Yeah.
In good news, I thought the offense played like crap and we still won.
Right.
Everybody's showing these pictures of Trav sitting on the bench looking down and downtrodden and all that. And they're saying, oh, he's washed up and all of that. To the young man next to me on my flight last night. You knew you said that to the wrong person real quick. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts right now on Trav? Let's just start with Trav first. Like the season he's having. What are your thoughts so far?
Well, so last year when honestly the whole Swiftie universe got introduced to him, he was a main player on their team because they didn't have a lot of weapons on the offense. Mm-hmm. So we got to see him utilized a lot more. So I think that they're now rolling that into this new season and expecting the same, and we're just not going to get it. I do think that he doesn't like to not get the ball. He doesn't like to be the one making the plays, but at the end of the day, he wants a win for his team, however they get that. So yes, you're going to see him on the sidelines like he's bored. He wants to get in that fight. But if you realize he's not open every single play, and just because he's open doesn't mean Patrick's going to see him every single time because they've made another play. Patrick's looking for the guy that's supposed to get the ball. Mm-hmm. Patrick even said in the post-game press conference last night, he said, it shows a lot of respect to Travis that all of these teams are double and triple guying him. Mm-hmm. He said, when I'm trying to get him the ball, he said, the majority of the plays I'm calling are for Travis. He was like, but I can't get him the ball because all of these people are on him. And it's leaving Worthy and Rashid open to where they're getting to make all these plays. And he's like, I'm still trying to get him the ball. And if he gets open, I'm getting it to him. Mm-hmm. But I don't think that there's any drama there that people are trying to say that there is. I don't think that he's washed up. I don't think that he's sidetracked with everything else he's got going on in life. I think it really comes down to if he's available and Patrick can get the ball to him safely, then he'll get the ball to him. But if somebody else can make a play and score, obviously Patrick's going to throw it there.
Yeah, I mean, now listen, I said during training camp that I thought Trav looked slower than he had been. He's getting older. It's just a part of life, guys. Like, I mean, if he was dating Betty Sue next door, he's still getting older. It has nothing to do with dating Taylor Swift that you're aging. Like, that's just part of life.
Right.
He has been on record of saying many times that football has been incredibly hard on his body. So, like, those things are still in play regardless of who you're dating, what you did in the off season. All that's irrelevant. So I think all that's true. I think to your point too, they do have more weapons right now. And I think that we probably look at football a little differently than a lot of people, especially, and I don't mean this like in a sexist way, but probably a lot differently than a lot of females do. And obviously there's a lot more females now watching football thanks to Taylor and Travis, but we were watching it long before that. And so I think we kind of know a little bit of different things to look for. And there's two things that I think a lot of people are missing in this category. One of those is your point about the other weapons. You've got Rashee Rice and you've got Xavier Worthy, who are lightning fast, okay?
Yes.
And when you're thinking about a football play, Travis is a tight end. A tight end typically is going 10, 15, maybe 20 yards away from the quarterback kind of plays. So if Patrick's going to throw to Travis, he's not on a typical day going to be throwing like a 40-yard pass to Travis.
Right.
Because body-wise, you're talking a bigger, slower individual. Right. And so a lot of what I think Patrick and the offense and Nagy and all them are looking at is, hey, we've got Rashee and we've got Worthy who can be in the end zone in about 0.1 second.
Right.
So he's looking, in my mind, I don't know. Patrick hadn't called me yet. I'll let y'all know when he does. But in my mind, he's looking downfield because now he has weapons who are in scoring position quick enough. He's not going to get hit, but he could score. Right. And so for me, I think that it has a lot to do with it's a new world for Patrick. And the reason that I'm putting more emphasis on Patrick than Travis is because you know who's not playing well? It's Patrick. And he himself has said that. He's thrown more interceptions in these first 3 games than the one he threw yesterday. I was on a plane and I was like, what are we doing? Like, that is not Patrick Mahomes.
No.
But I think it has to do with these seasons that he only had, Trav. He only had to think 10, 20-yard passes.
Right.
And those are a lot more obvious that you're not as likely to throw, not that you can't throw an interception, but you're less likely to when you're throwing a shorter distance because there's less safeties and all that coming. I think now the offense is switching gears because you've got these weapons that can go longer. So Patrick is going to throw more interceptions. We're going to need him to stop that.
Right. We're
going to need to button that up. But to me, that's more about Patrick and these new players and new style than it is Trav.
Well, and Travis's sweet spot for plays is when you are 3rd and 5 and we got to get this guy to barrel through 5 yards to get us that first down.
Well,
Travis can do that. Other sweet spot for him is when the play call is completely just gone to crap and Travis has realized it and took off downfield and Patrick finds him. Those are his 2 sweet spots. Yeah. You're not going to see him on every single play.
Yeah, exactly. And I think now, I honestly think it proves that it's more just the new pieces of the offense than Travis because of Patrick's interceptions.
Yes.
Because I think now Patrick's like, oh my gosh, I have all these options. I'm just going to throw. Wait, I shouldn't have thrown that one. You know, I will say 2 other things too that I noticed last night's game. First of all, I love Carson Steele. Like,
love it.
Did you see on social media that his sister got married last night?
Yeah, I saw
they showed the game.
Yeah, ESPN was going over to it.
Like, and I thought it was so funny that they were like, well, we planned the wedding because he wasn't going to get drafted.
They said we planned it a year ago because this was the only date the venue had open.
I just thought I really like him. But I think that's going to change the game. I think Pacheco being out now, which RIP to the leg, that made me so sad. But I think that's going to change the game for Trav because to your point, and even Chris Collinsworth, who, by the way, I cannot. The way your sister feels about Tony Romo is how I feel about Chris Collinsworth.
That's fair.
But listening to him last night, a play came up. I think it was like 3rd and 8. He said, "Oh, this is going to be a Kelsey play." Because you're right, it always has been, and it wasn't. They went to Carson Steele because now they've got this bulldozer in the backfield.
Yes,
and I think that's going to be a switch for fans watching Travis too, because you're right. Historically speaking, it was going to you always knew if it was 3rd and short, it's going to be Travis every single time. But that's because there was no one else, and now you've got literally this dude's a tank. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's going to change. The 3rd point that I think people that are not as familiar with football, what they're missing about Trav, a tight end there's kind of two types of tight ends. There's like a receiving tight end who that's like their main focus, and they're usually a little bit thinner. George Kittle, for instance, is much thinner than Travis. He is a receiving tight end.
Right.
When you have a bigger tight end like a Travis, like a Greg Olsen, people like that, they are also one of your prominent blockers. And I think what a lot of people are missing because they're watching where Patrick throws the ball. And so they're seeing, oh, Rasheed caught the ball. Xavier ran the touch. They're seeing that. What they're not seeing is they got open because Travis is the one blocking.
Exactly.
And I would actually argue, and of course I can't prove this, but I would actually argue his blocking this season, because he's actually able to block and not have to be the one receiving, has been phenomenal. And I think it's proven because those guys are scoring. But people are overlooking that because he's not catching touchdowns. And I'm having to tell my 8-year-old the same thing because my 8-year-old's built like Travis. And like allegedly, when he's all grown, will most likely be built exactly like, he's literally like predicted to be built exactly like Travis. Yeah. But I have to tell Judd, hey, it's not about catching all the touchdowns.
Right.
If you block and your boy scores behind you, like,
you contribute
on you.
Yeah.
But I think people miss that. And the other thing I would say is to call him washed up. And I definitely can't prove this, but I really wish somebody would go do the statistics on this. And maybe I'm wrong, and maybe you'll think differently too. I actually think Travis has been in on more plays this season than he was last season. At least I think I've noticed he's not coming out as much.
Because he's not running and being pounded as much. You're standing still and keeping that guy off.
And so I think that those things are at play that people are missing. Now, did Trav look pissed on the bench last night? Yeah.
Sure.
Travis is still Travis.
Right.
Travis is successful at dating Taylor Swift because he loves the spotlight.
Yeah.
And so he wants those touchdowns. And there was at least one he dropped last night, right?
I think he did drop one.
And there was one, Trev wants the touchdowns, guys. That's not.
Yes. I think the frustration that people are seeing on the sidelines, he's not frustrated at Patrick. He's frustrated that the other team is double teaming him every time and he can't get open. That's where his frustration is.
Well, and you got to remember too, Travis and Patrick are best friends.
Right.
When I'm frustrated about something, I'm going to have an animated conversation with my best friend that I'm not going to have with everybody else.
Yeah.
Because we have that kind of relationship.
There's safety there.
Yeah. I can tell you like, hey, I'm pissed. And I think that it's the whole thing too. I think it ties to people want to say there's drama between Brittany and Taylor about the political stuff. Guys, you just want there to be drama. Right. But also the other thing you have to remember, while Patrick is kind of the general on the field, Matt Nagy is the offensive coordinator.
Yeah,
Patrick is wearing a headset in his helmet that is telling him, this is what we're seeing from the box. Call this play.
Yep.
There's no doubt in my mind that Trav is probably not telling Patrick like, hey, you need to look at me. And Patrick's like, hey, I'm doing what Nagy's telling me to do.
Right.
There's no doubt in my mind. That's just life. Now, there were a couple times last night where I did see Trav. He was kind of like middle of the field. And there were a couple times he was wide open.
Yeah.
But again, it goes back to Patrick has this new open offense. And he wants to score touchdowns.
His eyes have to dart and figure out that
without getting killed back there.
300-pound men coming at him.
Yeah.
I would be in the fetal position every time.
Yeah. Oh, listen. But all that to say, there is no drama in Kansas City, guys. Like, y'all got to calm down. Y'all really, again, people are stupid. Y'all got to calm down. But what I want to say is we're 3-0. And honestly, we probably should have lost all 3 games.
Yeah. Listen, the Falcons, Kirk Cousins looked good last night. They were keeping it toe to toe.
I was with my friends this weekend from college. Again, my best friend being the Saints fan. And I was telling her, like, something is in the water. Like, the Bucks look good. The Saints look good. The Falcons look good. Like,
everyone
it's a new world.
Nothing makes sense. Backup quarterbacks are the stars.
Sam Darnold is leading the NFL in touchdowns.
What are we doing?
Becca and I were texting yesterday on my flight. I was like seeing these graphics, and I would send them to Becca, and she was like, what are we doing? And I'm like, I have no idea.
I don't get it.
But it's honestly kind of fun.
It's fun to see some of these names get some recognition that even you and I, after watching football for as long as we have, even there's times I'm like, who is that?
Yeah. No idea. Well, and some names that like I forgot about, really.
Yeah, I didn't even realize they were still in the NFL.
You have not retired. Who knows? So we played the Falcons yesterday. We won 22-17. I tell you though,
barely.
I did not think we were going to pull it off.
No, I really thought Cousins was going to score.
But here's what I want to say. I would give the offense probably a C right now.
I think that's a fair assessment.
Let me tell you something. When they get that game to an A, I'm not going to say anything else.
Not time to panic. Last year at the start of the season, we looked rough.
So bad.
We had lost games. Nobody was looking good.
Yeah.
So this is not, we've still got plenty of time.
Yeah, I'm not going to jinx it, but I'm going to tell you that y'all should be worried. That's all I'm saying. If you are not a Chiefs fan,
we got to clean some things up.
So this next weekend we play the Chargers, who, if I am not mistaken, are without a lot of key players now. Joey Bosa's hurt now. Justin Herbert's hurt.
Yeah.
So I
would assume Herbert's going to try and start again like he did yesterday, and they're going to end up pulling him again like they did yesterday.
I don't know unless he made it a lot worse. Who is his backup again? Nah, nothing.
I got nothing for you.
Got nothing. It's in Los Angeles.
Yes.
Let's go ahead and before we continue talking NFL, what's your prediction? Does Taylor go or not?
I think she does because it's in LA. She's got a house. She's got her friends out there. So I think, and we saw her out there last year.
Yeah.
So I think she'll be.
Yeah. So fun. She'll be at SoFi where I last saw her in person myself. No, that's not the last time I saw her in person. Last time I saw her on the stage.
There you go.
We hang out here in Kansas City. But that's the Chiefs. If you know us, that's our main concern. But there were some other games.
Yes.
Which game? What do you want to talk about next?
You want to go Eagles Saints?
Yeah. We have been on record, or we as in me, has been on record of saying, with everything that you put into this roster, if you can't win, I don't know what you're doing. I'm equally as confused still. What is happening?
Well, you and I still 10 toes down will stand on the problem in Philadelphia is Nick Sirianni.
100%.
He is their problem, and they need to get rid of him. You could go all the way to the Super Bowl this year and win. You still need to get rid of your coach. 100%.
I 1,000% agree. The Eagles had no business winning that game yesterday.
Listen, they dominated their time possessing the ball. Mm-hmm. Your offense had the ball. Listen, no exaggeration, probably 99.9% of that game. Yeah. You didn't get a single score until the fourth quarter.
Yep.
What? But, and I told you, if there's anything we can always bet on and know is consistent, is that Jalen Hurts is going to throw an interception.
Okay. So we agree 1,000,000%. The number one change that needs to happen in the NFL this offseason, Nick Sirianni needs to find a job at the home.
Gotta go.
And no offense to your Bama boy. Do y'all still claim him even though he went to OU? How's that work?
We claim him with OU. But we still claim him. Yeah.
So y'all share. Which is funny that you mentioned that. I noticed last night during, when they do I'm Travis Kelce from Cleveland Heights, Ohio.
I noticed a little sooner.
Well, yeah. And I'm like, whoop. I didn't know we could do both. So I guess you can share.
Yep.
How are you feeling about Jalen so far this season? Because you were pretty down on him last season.
I was down on him last season, and I feel like he's been consistent this season with how he was last season. Look, I'm still going to cheer for him and root for him every time until he's playing against the Chiefs.
Okay.
But I am very understandably honest that we got some major struggles that he should have cleaned up by now. You're too good of a player your talent is too great for you to be still making these same mistakes that you're making.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
How do you think the Giants are feeling right now when Saquon's breaking off for 65-yard touchdowns?
And
do they sound as stupid as they look?
Probably, but I don't know that Saquon could be Saquon for them.
No, he can't without that line.
You needed to get him out of that atmosphere for him to be successful again. Mm-hmm. It's that mentality. Sometimes you just need to get to a different team. But they don't love seeing this because he has gone off.
He is he's a man on a mission. He's mad as hell. And you know what you need in a running back? Mad as hell.
Mad as hell.
Yeah. Let me tell you, when Pacheco comes back, you want to talk about somebody who's going to come back mad as hell that he's missed games? Y'all are going to be.
And I will gladly get you off my fantasy bench.
Yeah. He is going to be stomping y'all. Do you want to let me ask you this. I'm going to quiz you a little bit here.
Oh.
Over or under. Okay. What do you think that Jalen Hurts' QB rating was yesterday? Was it over 50% or under?
Under. Wasn't it?
I'll tell you what it was. 41.2%.
Feels right. Feels right for Jalen.
What are we doing? 29 of 38?
I thought he would have some oomph coming into this season. And I even told you that.
Yeah.
We don't have Jason Kelce. So I think that he and Jason
there are some problems there in that handoff situation. Cam is not. I think he will grow in. I believe that he will grow into a great center because Jason believes that.
Yes.
Not because I can see it, is what I'm going to tell you. Yeah. But I do think that lack of chemistry now is a problem.
Well, but I think, and again, I don't know what they're doing in the locker room, outside of the locker room, but I think you need to put some extra work into that relationship because, listen, if that one is off, your whole play is busted. Mm-hmm. So we got to get that figured out real fast.
Yeah. I was, I believe, boarding or switching flights in the middle of I was definitely on a plane when that game ended there was a large outburst on my plane and I thought we were crashing. But Devonta Smith, did he end up hurt when his helmet came off and he took a really awful hit, or was he okay?
Out with a concussion.
Oh, so he is. I'm pretty sure he's on one of my lineups, so of course something's wrong with him.
He's already a little ragdoll when he gets thrown around.
Well, he can't weigh more than 100 pounds.
So wet.
I mean, with everything on.
The thing is, that was a clean hit. He got hit clean. You got a 300-pound guy coming at you.
Have you noticed? I've noticed this in college games and NFL games this season. It feels like helmets are coming off a lot more right now.
A lot.
Is there something wrong? Do we need a new strap?
I was about to say, I don't know if it's not tight this year. I've noticed it
every game, every level.
There was one player, maybe it was one of the Colts players, I can't remember, but they went down for a tackle and he stood up and kind of bent over and his helmet just flipped off.
Was it last weekend in the Arkansas UAB game? One kid got stretchered taken to the hospital but it was the third time his helmet had come off.
Yeah. I'm like, where's your equipment manager?
But Jalen threw an interception. So he threw one interception, which is one interception more than he threw touchdowns because he threw none. He also fumbled the ball.
Yes. Oh.
Things are just
he's a big dude. You should not be fumbling the ball. You are a big man that can protect that thing.
Well, it's funny because I didn't actually see his fumble or his interception. But when I went to look at the box score and look at all the stats, I saw Dallas Goedert had a tackle and I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. As soon as he threw the interception, I looked at Doug and I was like, well, that feels right.
It feels on brand. Listen, I don't know what's going on in New Orleans. But I'm impressed is what I'll say.
They've got some life this year. I don't know how long they can sustain it, but they've got some life.
I'm happy, especially for my best friend Megan. I'm happy for the Saints. But what the part of me that's not happy for them is it probably will get them stuck with Dennis Allen for another year as a coach.
Yeah.
That doesn't feel great, I would say. No. But Alvin Kamara he's running real mad.
That guy is on a mission to win.
Yeah. But I have to say that Judd's favorite, my beloved Willie Gay that went from the Chiefs to the Saints, he got a fumble recovery yesterday. I was really happy for him.
Yes.
Because we love him. He's so sweet to Judd. But yeah, they're actually looking really good down in New Orleans.
Yep. They're not doing too bad. Good for them.
Do we want to talk about the Jets-Patriots game? Did we already? I can't.
We didn't already talk about it.
I can't ever remember.
They did really well. but
he didn't look bad.
He didn't look bad. He had some great plays. They had a few misplays, but overall, but again, caveat, you were playing the Patriots.
Yeah.
And we got to do something. Listen, I don't know that it's their quarterback that's not great. Your O-line, that pocket collapsed every time. He didn't even have time to scramble.
Yeah.
We got to do something there.
Yeah. Let's see. So, yeah, I don't really have a lot of notes about that other than all I really was going to say was he didn't look bad. I still, for those of you that were like, oh, they're going to the Super Bowl again, hashtag people are stupid. You're still wrong. It's not happening. The Giants won.
They needed a win.
I mean, they beat the Browns, but
which looked just like we expect the Browns to look.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of trade conversations. Sounds like the Cowboys may be talking to Amari Cooper again, but it also sounds like apparently Brett Veach has been talking to Amari Cooper. And if you don't know who Brett Veach is,
he gets his way in the NFL.
And he's from the Chiefs, my friend. So I wouldn't hate it.
Especially how the Chiefs structure their contracts, Brett Veach does. Because the way that he works things so that they can get
magic
best players without going over their salary cap, that man could teach a master class in it.
I wouldn't mind it, especially with Pacheco if Pacheco was still healthy and Hollywood was healthy, I would say, whatever on Amari, because he is getting older. But I think with Hollywood, because I'm going to be honest, unless we make it to the Super Bowl, I don't think we're going to see Hollywood this season.
No.
So I wouldn't hate it. I think it would be great. I like Amari Cooper. If I'm Amari Cooper, and if I have my choice, I'm clearly going to the Chiefs because I want a ring. But I also wouldn't go back to the Cowboys because they got rid of me.
Right.
And I'm petty.
And they don't have a good track record of treating their people well.
You want to know somebody I think that's really regretting their life's decisions right now?
Jerry Jones.
Well, that's a given. No. L'Jarius Sneed. My boy Sneed, and I love him. I think he is. First of all, talent beyond words, but he just seems like a good person. He went for money, and we've talked a lot on this show about do you go for money or go for rings? He went to the Titans. How's that working out for you, my guy? Because they could not look worse. And again, we have said on here so many times, you got rid of your coach. That didn't make sense.
No.
Then you're trading quarterbacks around. That doesn't make sense. You're riding on Will Levis. How did that look for you yesterday against the Packers, my friends?
I was embarrassed for them for how bad Will Levis looked.
And did you think it was funny who beat them? His backup quarterback, Malik Willis, who got traded to the Packers, beat them. And you know that man today is
off.
You know he today is like F you.
Rightfully so. Rightfully so.
Yeah. Now, I will say that the Packers look pretty good.
They're looking pretty good right now.
And I've seen some updated graphics saying maybe they play the Chiefs in the Super Bowl.
Listen, you sent that to me, but here's the thing. Once Love is back and feeling good and going into quarterback, I'm going to be interested to see what that looks like for them.
Well, don't you need that to look good on your fantasy team?
I'm just going to ride Baker for the whole time.
Okay, just checking. I wouldn't be surprised. You know what else? The petty side of me would love it if they did make it to the Super Bowl. You know why?
Why?
Because Jonathan Owens doesn't play for them anymore.
Oh. You love to see it.
You can accuse me of a lot of things. Petty is definitely in that list.
100%.
Yeah. The Bears lost.
Shocker.
But, I mean, Caleb threw almost 400 yards and 2 touchdowns. But it's still the Bears.
You're still the Bears.
You can't. And you know what? That's what you get, Jonathan Owens. Maybe you're the karma they didn't need.
Who knows?
Lost to the Colts. So there's that. Yep. Now, the one that I did not get to see anything of, have not read a thing, and so I'm really hoping you saw it. What happened to the Texans?
I did not watch that game.
What happened? We don't know. Did you read?
No, I haven't seen or read anything, but I'm going to tell you, CJ did not look like CJ.
Well, and you know why he didn't? Because I've got him on one of my teams. That's why. It's probably me. So they lost yesterday to the Vikings 34-7. To Sam Darnold, who, is leading the NFL in touchdowns, which I don't even know what we're doing here. But
the Vikings got 2 touchdowns in the first quarter. The Texans didn't even score until the third quarter.
What is happening?
What's happening
Was
here?
it the Stephon Diggs curse?
I don't know, but Stephon, I did see a clip, and Stephon was laying into the sideline, which is what he does
shocker.
in good and in bad. So
yeah, shocker. I'm stunned.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have to do some more research because I was like looking at the clicker or looking through the ticker when I was waiting on my flight, and I was like, I'm sorry, what? I thought I was reading it wrong. I had taken my flying medicine, and I thought I just couldn't see straight.
Yeah.
The
Justin
other one
Jefferson was just having a game.
I mean, and it is Justin Jefferson. At the end of the day, I could probably throw him touchdowns in the NFL. I mean, I do have a pretty good arm. So I did a lot of practice in the ocean this weekend. I feel pretty good.
There you go.
I will admit, just now that was kind of sore though. So I don't know. That hurt.
Get you into some physical therapy.
Here's my next question for you. Will Russell Wilson play this season?
Not if they're smart. Not if they're smart. My man, keep saying that you've got an injury to save your pride, but you leave Justin Fields out there while he's hot. Don't take him out.
Listen, I guess I shouldn't be shocked because when he was at Ohio State, he was phenomenal. And maybe it's because he was with the Bears. I don't know, but I mean, he's winning games.
He is. Don't mess with him when he's going off.
I don't even know. Like, he threw almost 300 yards. I don't even know what we do with that. I mean,
you leave him. You let him keep playing, and you let Russell keep saying he's got an injury. Let him save some pride, and leave it at that.
You mentioned that you're riding Baker. How'd that go for you yesterday?
Well, it's better than Jordan Love, so.
Only because Jordan Love didn't play, Becca.
Listen, when I first got into the app after, because I was like, oh, Baker's playing, because I was watching a different game, and it was like negative 1.6, and I thought, of course.
Of course. Right. Well, I'll probably get a DM from Baker that's going to ask me to have you remove him from your lineup so he'll do better.
Possible.
I was stunned when I saw this. So they lost to the Broncos 26-7. Bo Nix, I guess, finally found himself.
As I say, he was making up for the week before, I guess.
We had been talking about, like, what does this say about Jarrett Stidham and Zach Wilson that we were still riding Bo, who was doing real bad. But I thought the Bucs were really looking good. Baker was looking phenomenal, so I don't know what happened. I didn't get to see that one, but I guess now I know it was you were starting
something put together and extend it.
Yeah.
And it just cost them. Yeah.
Tampa would prefer if you'd go ahead and remove him from your lineup.
Sorry, guys.
Other crazy breaking news in the NFL. I don't believe this has been said in like 2 years. The Carolina Panthers won.
Listen, I have a lot. Well, I have a lot of questions, not so much thoughts.
You're a Bryce Young fan,
and he's Bryce Young fan,
and he's been benched.
I feel like yes, this game they benched him. They started
Andy Dalton.
The won the game for him. I feel that the Panthers are probably doing to Bryce what the Jets did to Zach Wilson. You've shot his confidence. He needs to get out of there. We need to trade him. We need to get him in a new atmosphere. So I'm glad that they won. That whole thing needs to be redone. It's just crazy.
Yeah. I mean, Andy Dalton's not a bad quarterback. I mean, he threw 300 yards, 3 touchdowns.
Yeah. I mean, they played the Raiders. Did you see the head coach of the Raiders post-game conference?
No. Antonio Pierce? No. What do you do?
I think I screenshot the quote that he said at the end. As the game went on, there were definitely some individuals that made business decisions. And we also will be making decisions going forward as well.
I'm sorry. I did see this. I think they're going to part ways with Devontae Adams.
Yeah. I think you had some guys that were going a little softer because they didn't want to get injured, maybe. Whatever the case may be, you are still on playing for a team that is still signing your paycheck. You better get out there and do your job. So I thought that was interesting. I'll be interested to see what news comes out of their organization. Devontae Adams needs to go anyway.
He's wanted to go. Attitude. Yeah. He has wanted to play with Aaron Rodgers since the minute he stopped playing with Aaron Rodgers. I would assume the Jets have got money and space because who the hell else are they paying? I don't even know.
Yeah.
I did see that. Maybe you sent it to me, but I did see that, and I didn't see anything with the game, but I instantly knew he's got to be talking about him.
He was angry at the end of that
Listen,
game.
here's the thing, and I can't stand Max Crosby.
Right.
He's like right there with Nick Bosa for me. But I can't imagine quitting on my team and being willing to walk into a locker room that Max Crosby's standing in.
No.
Because can you not just see him like obliterating you?
Listen, you're supposed to be one of the leaders on that team. Yeah. I hope they did obliterate him.
Listen, if Max is going to go off, let him. I mean, he deserves to. Like, that's
lost to the Panthers.
Yeah. I don't know.
That was fans to come watch a game.
Yeah. That was crazy. The 49ers, speaking of Nick Bosa, is everyone hurt? Debo, George Kittle, Christian McCaffrey, Nick Bosa.
That's good.
Like, so they lost. I mean, which is
barely.
They still almost beat the Rams with like their fourth string in.
Yeah.
That's a predicament though. If I'm a 49ers fan, now if I'm a Rams fan, I'm real frustrated that I've got Kyron Williams scoring 2 touchdowns and I still can't beat a broken down, depleted team. Like, I don't know what to do with that. The Ravens beat the Cowboys in a close one.
Did you see that game?
Listen, yes. I saw not all of it, but a lot of it.
Close until the last quarter.
Yeah.
The Cowboys didn't show up until the last quarter. I don't know what was going on. CeeDee Lamb was yelling on the sidelines. Dak wasn't looking at anybody. It was not pretty.
Yeah. Again, what is even happening in Dallas? I don't know. The Lions beat the Cardinals, which, of course, after last week's game, everyone was like, Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison are the next, like, Steve Young and Jerry Rice people. We need to calm down. Calm down.
Yeah.
Not true. Not going to happen.
We're not in the part of the season where we're making those claims.
My wee little man is not going to be like, that ain't happening. No. So the Lions won. I will say I have not been impressed with the Lions yet this season.
They have not showed up as big as I thought they would. Their defense looked a little bit better this week than the week before. So we are gaining a little bit of ground there. But you're right. I expected huge things from them. And
I guess you could say the same about the Chiefs. I mean,
that's true.
At least we're winning, but still. All right, the Dolphins and the Seahawks. So we've got quite the kerfluffle happening in Miami. Since we last recorded, Tua got another concussion.
God,
and
massive.
Listen, they're not putting him on the IR. He says he's not retiring. He's going to see a concussion specialist. And I hope that specialist has the balls to tell him, son, sit down.
Listen, you supposedly have been seeing these specialists and doctors this whole time, because as a spectator, when I immediately know you've gone down with a concussion, something's wrong. Devontae Adams goes down with a concussion and we're not sure what it is, but he walks off. He looks fine. You barely get hit in the head or hit the back of your head, and instantly we're seeing your reflexes. We're seeing
you're like posturing and seizing. Yeah. Like
something is wrong. If I'm your wife, thank you so much for the guaranteed money. We're going to be stepping aside now.
No.
You've got babies.
There's no way. If I'm his wife and I hate to pass judgment on anyone's marriage, there's no way I'm standing by. No, because here's what you're telling me. That means more to you than we do.
Yes.
And Mike McDaniels, who we love, but apparently your sister doesn't, which blew my mind. That was the most heated I've seen the two of you get in a text in a while. But I understand he's like emotional about it because that's like his guy. But you're a dad too. Like,
well, and I think Nick Saban was asked about it at College Game Day the following weekend after that happened. And he even said, everybody wants to, tell him he needs to retire and do all these things. He was like, he needs the medical professionals around him to help him come up with what's decision is best. And I agree with that. I just hope that the medical professionals around him are actually telling him what he needs to hear, and maybe not what the organization and fans want to hear. Because we're 3 seasons in of these major concussions,
and we're not talking like.
And why are you not in a Guardian cap?
I've wondered that too. I get it; they look stupid, my guy, but
I feel like it should have been part of his contract.
Yeah.
Put
I
it
don't
on.
know. I mean,
Bubble wrap on top of it. Whatever we got to do.
you hate it because, I mean, he's a hell of a quarterback. But at some point, the game has to stop being about just players on a field and wins. Like, I mean,
yeah.
And he's so young. It's just like, golly,
Miami needs to do some trade something because.
Well, okay, so your backup is Skylar Thompson, so you're riding him as your starter. So you got to go out to the market. Yeah, you go out to the market, and you didn't even get the best available quarterback out there right now.
No,
I don't know what they're going to do now.
Go for Bryce. Did Tannehill ever get picked up? Maybe try for him. There's got to be somebody out here.
I'm wondering if they try to go get Bryce. If I'm McDaniels, I try to go get Bryce right now.
Yeah.
I mean,
the Panthers are saying they're not talking trading him or whatever, but I bet you Bryce is asking for a trade. And not because he got benched. I think he probably wanted to be traded before he got benched.
Well, sometimes you like to win. So
he came from Alabama.
I don't know how to do this. This is new.
Yeah. What's happening? Why are your stands not full?
Yeah. Why are the tickets $1.50?
It's your band.
I can't even get a hot dog in Alabama for that. Like, what's happening?
No.
That's what I had for the NFL.
Okay.
Want to talk quickly some college football?
Let's do it.
Listen, my Hogs went down to Alabama, to Auburn, and guess what they did?
They did the dang thing.
They won a freaking football game.
Heck,
listen.
Yes. Against Auburn, which I hate.
I hate them now. You cut my Gus and you're done to me. You are dead. They looked pretty good. We watched the game.
They did look pretty good.
We've got Bobby Petrino. He's maybe not of the most high moral character, but he's an offensive genius.
He's doing his job.
And I've heard he's very remorseful. So there's that. It's crazy because Taylon Green, who's the Razorback quarterback, came from Boise. And of course, at Boise, he was like, oh, he should be a Heisman candidate. Again, you're playing at Boise. You're not playing in the SEC.
Big fish, small pond.
Yeah. So he's definitely struggling still. He's athletic. Did you watch the game?
I didn't.
Now, have you seen any clip? Did you see the play or even the picture? He's like trucking it down the field. He's a real tall dude. And he goes to leap over someone, and they jumped at the same time, and he's like karate kicking him in the chest, the table. I have to send you a picture. It is hilarious. But
fantastic.
He likes to do a lot of jumping, so I'm real worried about his legs.
We got to keep those ankles
steady. But the offense looked really, listen, compared to previous years,
we're looking great, guys.
The defense is still a struggle fest. What kills me is our best defensive player went to UNLV, where our old defensive coach, Barry Odom, went. And he's like even in talks to potentially be a Heisman candidate now. Cantalon.
Yeah.
That's painful. But hey, in Arkansas, a win is a win. And on the road,
yeah,
couldn't have been happier. So I was going to bring that up. I was also going to bring up the fact, did you watch any of the Michigan USC game?
I saw parts of it.
That was a close one.
Close one.
I don't understand what's going on with Michigan. They got mollywopped by Texas, and then they end up beating USC. It was close.
Well, didn't they benched their quarterback, and they were playing their backup, right?
Maybe that's the ticket.
I'm pretty sure they benched Warren. Yeah, because Orji is their backup, and he played.
Yeah, so
I don't know the reasoning for benching. I did not look, but I did see that they had benched him. But that was announced before the game even started. Like that wasn't
a game was good enough reason to bench him. Arch Manning got his first collegiate start
and did great.
He had his first interception, got it out of the way.
Yep.
And then
first place.
Yeah. Just go ahead and let me get this over with so I know what it feels like.
There you go.
Man, he looks good.
He does.
How lucky is Texas right now? You've got Quinn Ewers, who, again, I still think, but for me right now, the Heisman is between him and Jackson Dart. And if Quinn doesn't come back for a while, then whatever. Yeah. But, man, what is it like to be a Texas fan? I mean, I don't want to know because I hate Texas, but
you've got good depth there. I do.
Backup quarterback is Arch Manning. Like, what is life?
Right. I really appreciate that. And we talked about this in previous episodes, that Arch Manning, like he stayed, he didn't jump ship and go somewhere else because he's trying to be a better football player. If you want to go to the NFL, he's trying to learn and grow. I really appreciated that he has stayed and been loyal and tried to learn under Sarkisian. I also really appreciate because everybody's like, oh, well, he's getting to start. So now you don't need Quinn Ewers. And I love that Sarkisian has come out and said, Quinn is still our quarterback. He's out for an injury. As soon as he's well, he's coming back in. And Arch Manning has not once been like disrespectful about it or tried to play off. Like he's just stepping into the role that he needs to step into. And then he will step back until it's his time again. And that shows so much more maturity in him for a young guy. Some of these guys are like 25 playing college football. He's a young kid. Well, and the maturity that we see is, so awesome.
Not every kid also has the lineage to
He's that.
But the reverse of that could be said too, that he has that lineage, so he could go anywhere else and say,
I mean, look at the Sanders in Colorado. So
did you watch the Colorado game?
I think I was flipping back and forth, so I caught some of it. It just makes me nauseous to watch them for too long.
They went into overtime, and
I was really hoping Baylor would beat them.
They went into overtime and won because Baylor fumbled. Travis Hunter caused a fumble on the goal line, so they won the game. And then they stormed the field.
Before the game was officially over.
It was under review. They beat Baylor. I didn't tell y'all just then that he beat Alabama. They stormed the field.
You beat Baylor.
A 1-2 Baylor. So we're not talking about back when Baylor was like undefeated.
Again, and I'm sure they'll get fined as they should.
Yeah.
But what are we doing, guys?
That was weird.
I think you've been here before.
Yeah. Yeah.
Lord.
Did you watch the Tennessee-Oklahoma game?
I sure did.
That was a heck of a game. And
such a good game.
I didn't even put it all in my head together about Josh Heupel coaching Tennessee, but having like won the Heisman when he was the quarterback at Oklahoma. That wasn't even in my head.
Oh, yeah.
I was just excited because it was like the first Oklahoma real SEC game. And also, we've been talking about Tennessee. And, I mean, I think we're talking about something legit right now.
First time he's been back since OU fired him.
Yeah.
His family lives there. It's his first game back in Oklahoma since his mom died a few months ago.
I know. Gosh, I cried in the pool.
All of that emotion. Did you see that the boys gave him a game ball at the end? Like,
it got me.
He was very adamant on like, this game was not about me. And then he said, he was telling his players and he was like, but thank you so much for giving a little bit extra for me. And I was like, oh God.
Get me right in the field.
Right. It was such a good game to watch. And I was rooting for Tennessee the whole way through. So I wanted to see that they pulled up.
We were so pretty much I was on my college girls trip and we are all SEC fans. Pretty much all Arkansas fans with the exception of one A&M. So we're definitely all SEC. But what I said is they were like, well, who do you want to win when the game was starting? I was like, Tennessee, because I want the real SEC to win.
Yeah.
And my friend that was A&M was like, what? I'm like, no. I consider y'all real now because it kind of you're sitting now, but I feel like they were such tag-alongs, OU and Texas. But it was a great game though.
But did you see OU's coach randomly just pulls their starting quarterback and says, like, you're not keeping up with tempo and you stuck your backup in?
Yeah, I thought that was weird. There was a statistic in that game though that I was not aware of that blew my mind. I want to get this right. So if I'm wrong, whatever. Just go ahead and tell me in my DMs. No, I believe this is correct. Until OU scored a touchdown in that game, Tennessee had gone 19 quarters with no one scoring an offensive touchdown against them.
Oh, wow.
And when I said that in the pool, everybody was like, oh, well, that's not a big deal. I'm like, no, wait a minute. That means that's like almost 5 games.
Yeah.
And you're talking like end of the season games too, not just like your fluff team games. That's pretty crazy. I didn't realize they kind of snuck up on me being this good.
Same. Well, I didn't really keep up with them before.
Yeah, because it was like they used to be amazing and then they were dreadful. And so now I'm like, oh, y'all are back. Their little quarterback, that Nico kid, I mean, he wasn't flawless. He definitely made some pretty big mistakes, but I mean, I'd take him for sure.
Yep.
So I was super pumped to see them win. Did you see the SMU TCU score?
I did not.
So last weekend, TCU played UCF, which, I'm always on board with because Coach Meadow's on. That one went down to a missed field goal the last second. and luckily UCF won. SMU, who is also coached by a friend of mine from high school, stomped the smithereens. I'm talking like, I think it was like 59-20.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening at TCU, but
Whew.
listen,
Okay.
things are amiss. But I also read that the mayor of Dallas went to the city council meeting last week and wore a T-shirt that said, I'm sorry, Mayor of Fort Worth went to the city council meeting with a T-shirt on that said Dallas, the city of Dallas sucks. Because I guess it's like Fort Worth, Dallas. Well, that didn't age very well, sir.
No.
Not
great.
Florida beat the pants off Mississippi State.
Listen, they needed a win. Mississippi State looked rough. Florida did not look flawless, but Mississippi State made Florida look like they're a legit team. And I was like, what are we doing?
Yeah, and I hate that for Florida fans, honestly, because you could get stuck with Billy Napier.
Right. Now your hopes are up.
Yeah, don't do it. Don't do it. Any other big games from college?
No huge ones. Missouri won in double overtime. So
I'm sorry. Yes, against a powerhouse Vanderbilt.
Yep. Yeah.
Was this a like quiz bowl or an actual football game? Like, what were we doing?
At the end of the day, they won.
How did Doug fare during that one? Was he okay or?
He was okay. I went to had finished one game and the Mizzou game was still on because they had gone into overtime, and I was clicking through and I paused on that channel for a minute, and Doug just looked over and he was like, "Don't do it." I did not turn the game on because we don't want to jinx that.
Yeah. I was floating around in the pool and I saw it come across the ticker and I texted you. I was like, "I'm sorry, what's happening?"
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing here?
A win is a win, but we have got to clean it up before we start playing some actual teams.
Yikes,
it's all been fluff up to this point. So
yeah,
pull it.
But they still have the longest winning streak in college football.
We got that going for us. So
we'll see. Ole Miss looked real good. Jackson Dart is looking real good.
Yep.
You can stay healthy. I really think they can really do something. I don't think North Carolina got their socks beat off, and I was a little bit surprised. And they said in the post-game conference or whatever that Mac Brown made some statements to the team that seemed a little odd, like potentially he might step down.
Okay.
Which I was a little bit surprised. I don't see him doing that mid-season, but I don't know. Yeah, not even mid-season, really early season. So I don't know. LSU won against UCLA. I don't think anything else real big happened that I can think of off the top of my head.
No.
Would you like to answer some questions?
Let's do some questions.
All right. Since we are talking football, I will start with that question. James asked us, who do you predict will be the NFL MVP this season? So we're we're starting week 4, right?
Yes, this will be week 4 that we're going into.
A little early, but okay. Who are you thinking right now?
Well, so I'm always going to hope for Patrick Mahomes to be MVP. Mm-hmm. Honestly, right now he's looking real good for consistency. But listen, it's knowing my luck, it's going to go to Dak or Lamar and make no sense whatsoever.
I was going to say and be bumfuzzling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but at this rate, it might go to some kickers too, because they're winning games right now.
And like 65-yard kicks, like
not even small ones.
Yeah. There was a couple of college kickers too that were doing some 60-yarders. Dallas kicker, Brandon Aubrey, is that his name?
Yes.
Yeah.
Real good.
Wouldn't that be a riot if an NFL kicker won the MVP?
I would love it. I would love it so much. So
yeah, why not?
If I'm picking, I'm going Mahomes. But listen, it's gone to lesser than, so.
Yeah. It is so early. Like we're starting week 4. I don't know because I'm going based on how I hope the season plays out.
Yeah.
Which I hope is obviously the Chiefs going to the Super Bowl and they win again. So I'm saying Patrick. If I was like, okay, we have to decide today who the NFL MVP is, I'm actually going Sam Darnold.
100%.
I mean, statistically speaking, I don't know what the hell I'm even saying. I
You
feel
had
weird.
asked us that at the beginning of the season, we would have thought something has gone awry.
Well, first of all, if JJ McCarthy wasn't hurt, Sam Darnold's not even playing, in my opinion.
Right.
So, like,
yeah.
And if I'm JJ McCarthy, I'm kind of wondering what happens next season when I come back.
I'm really hoping I heal up with some superpowers. That's
or I get traded or something. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, so I mean, if I had to say today, that's where I would. I mean, statistically.
And again, season's early.
Yeah, I mean, he could lose out the rest of the season.
Yeah, hold momentum, but yeah, he's doing great right now.
You know, something I don't want to say, but if they continue how they played this weekend, Aaron Rodgers will be in the conversation.
We're not even going there.
We can't. But I'm just saying, like, I know. Yeah, you're right.
One good game. One good game. Come on.
Let me just move on. Okay, let's talk about Taylor. Do you think I'm sorry, this is from Shelly. Do you think there's a chance Taylor will ever make another country album, second part, of course, or try another genre?
I really don't think that she'll make a country album. Here's the thing. I think that she is one of those artists that no longer needs to proclaim what genre her album is.
Yeah.
She's just going to record it. There might be a song that's got some country vibes, some pop vibes, some indie vibes, rock vibes, whatever it is. I don't think that she's going to come out and specifically say, hey, this is just a pop album or this is just a country album. But I think that it would be very unlikely for her to come out with an all country album. That's not up her alley anymore. She doesn't need that.
Yeah. I think it depends on what you mean by country album for my answer. When she does the Taylor's version of the debut album, I assume you consider that a country album. So,
that would be fair.
So I would say yes in that sense. For like a pure brand new album, T12, 13, 14, whatever, no. Yeah. I don't see that at all. I don't see her ever going back to country.
She's too big for it.
Yeah. And then as for your question about or do another genre, I think genres are like a confusing thing now because it's like, what do you, and also there's like
meshed together.
Well, and there's like new words for things that I don't know what that means. I'm currently 400 years old. I have said before, and I think we may have talked about this on here before, but there are clips from like old tours, specifically, language here, 1989 tour, when she used to add a little more kind of like edge, rock, growl kind of stuff to her music that I actually really like when she does. So I wouldn't be mad if there were more of that style on some of her albums, but I don't want like a whole album of it. Yeah. I like the hodgepodge of just like show your talent in all the genres. I keep seeing, and I've sent it to you, that everyone is saying that TS12, I mean, we know she's working on it because that's how she does things.
Right.
They're saying it's kind of it's following the 1989 trend, the pop Bible, as they call it. That feels right to me about who she's surrounding herself with. They say she's working on it with, of course, with Jack and Max Martin, which means if she's going back to Max with Jack and not Aaron Dessner, we're kind of leaving that like folky indie thing, which I see. I do believe that. I mean, I think she'll probably still do stuff with Aaron, but I don't see another album that's in that trend. So I do think it's going to go more poppy, rocky kind of.
Yeah.
But I don't want another country album from her.
No.
That's
I
not
think we're good.
She hadn't called to ask, but I'm out.
No.
All right. Since we're talking about Taylor, I'll skip over to Stephanie asked, what do you think the hardest part of Tree Payne's job is? She is a goddess. Stephanie, we concur. She is the queen of all things. We are very much willing to work for her at any moment.
Yeah.
What do you think the hardest part of Tree's job is?
I think I would assume the hardest part for her would be keeping up with all of the stories and the things that are being said about Taylor, and then deciding what do we need to respond to? What can we just kind of ignore and go by the wayside? Because at this point, Taylor's almost bigger than a global star. Mm-hmm. Like, you can't get into an upper echelon of where she is. So there's constant stories and things that are coming out on social media and in news sources and whatnot. So I would just imagine trying to keep up with all of that. And then because we need to make sure that the narrative is right around her and whatnot, just knowing exactly what to come out and respond to, what can we not, and what can maybe we just stick some sources in random spots and let that do the job.
Yeah.
I was going to think like security things, but that's more the security team aspect. I wouldn't think that that's a tree concern.
Yeah. I was going to say time zones. Just kidding.
Same.
That's going to be our hardest part working for Taylor. No, similar to what you're saying, to me, it's like patience, I guess, because I don't know Tree's personality. If I'm to put myself in her shoes, which I can't even like fathom doing, but I would have trouble not wanting to respond to everything. And so, yeah, because I'm that way about my friends.
Right.
And so, because when you come for them, I'm coming for you with everything.
Right.
So she's got to be a very patient person. I would also be super curious the work like dynamic, because we only get like small glimpses of it. Like I remember at last year's VMAs, Taylor was she was having a great time. And Tree kept bringing her water, and she was real insistent that she wasn't going to drink it.
Yeah.
And so I just kind of wonder sometimes like what the dynamic is. And also because I mean, Taylor is like a marketing genius on her own, but obviously like she needs a PR person. Right. But I just sometimes wonder, like, is that complicated working for a star that like, if she had the time could really do it herself and do it really well? Right. Is that hard at all? As opposed to like, if she was Zach Bryan's PR person, she could really do a lot of good work for him, you know, and he really needs her.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just wonder kind of like what the dynamic is like. And, but yeah, for me, it'd be the patience, because the stuff I read, like the way she came after Dumas, that would have been nothing compared to what I would have done.
So that was so mild and kind and professional.
Which is why I am not Tree Payne.
Right. We would
nor
not
could I ever be.
No.
Okay, this is an interesting question from Rachel. Create a kiss, marry, kill of TV shows from the 2000s.
Okay.
Where'd you go with this?
Okay.
Also, did you feel 300 years old when it was like the 2000s, as if we were talking about the 80s?
I started to like Google shows from the 2000s, and I was like, this is covering a wide variety of things.
Yeah. Yeah. That was the other thing. I didn't know. Did we mean like, what is the 2000s? Is that like pre-2020?
Well, I went anything 2000 to present day.
Okay. Well, that's fine, because I don't know, but I do think that there is, I think they call today the 20s.
Oh.
I don't know.
That makes me feel older.
We just need to ask
the 1900s. Please don't confuse us.
We just need to ask an 18-year-old. Maybe they'll know.
Golly.
All right. So kiss, marry, kill.
Kiss, whatever. How I Met Your Mother.
Okay.
That one's pretty good one. Marry, at this point, I feel like I'm invested enough that I need to marry Grey's Anatomy. We're too far in, guys.
Yeah, you're already in some kind of legal entity with them. Right. So
we've already had a long anniversary. Like, we're in this. And then kill, I'm going Dancing with the Stars. How is this still on?
Yeah.
It's not even that great.
That's how we all feel about Grey's Anatomy, Becca.
Listen,
but okay.
Okay. Hold your comments.
Literally, somebody on my trip this weekend was like, wait, that show's still on? I was like, and I know someone who still watches it.
I've got 2 more episodes I need to watch from last season, because the new season starts this week. So
she said, as I always say to you, she said, how can they still be doing stuff on that show? They've done it all. And I'm like, listen, there's a whole new cast.
New interns every year to make the storylines. That's how. If you kept the same people, we'd have been done long ago.
Yeah.
If we're being honest, we should have been. But
yeah,
here we are.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you doing for Kiss, Marry, Kill?
Okay, so I'm going to start with my kill.
Okay.
I'm going to kill the Real Housewives series.
Okay.
And I know that's going to be spicy for a few people.
No, you're good. That's good.
Like,
it's a lot.
I think it's very unhealthy.
Can you imagine that being your friend group? And I do that in quotes for those listening.
No. And I think it's unhealthy for the people on it. some of my friends are still very invested in certain cities. I think it's unhealthy for them. Like,
my anxiety can't handle it. Like I get wrapped up in it and then I'm worried for you. It's too much.
So, and listen, I know a lot of life is scripted, right?
Right.
But it's just so overly scripted. I just can't stand it.
But you would think that still seeps into like your actual life and your actual thoughts about yourself and your surroundings. Like eventually that does become a truth for you.
Yeah. I mean, I guess. I don't
That's
know.
a great one to kill. I'm all in on that.
A show I haven't thought about in a while. And again, I wasn't entirely sure what the 2000s were. Like, well, part of it is like I loved 90210 and West Wing and Dawson's Creek, but is that considered 90s? Like, I didn't know if you meant like it was created in the 2000s.
Listen, I feel like we're putting a lot more thought into what this person probably meant.
Well, they haven't met me because that's what happens, okay?
You do overthink it.
So, but I was going to marry. No, wait. I said kill, right? Okay, so kiss. I was going to kiss Mad Men. I loved that show.
Oh, shocker. I did not watch that.
Yeah. I don't think you're ready for what I'm going to marry.
Okay. Give it to me.
Private Practice.
Oh.
I really, really loved that show.
It was so good. And it was on just the right amount of time.
So I do have to say though, because I can't be confined. If I was to marry Private Practice and we had to get divorced for whatever reason,
okay,
I was going to go ahead and marry Scandal.
Okay,
because they're like neck and neck to me, but I didn't want to commit to just kissing Scandal because I feel more passionately about it.
Okay, wow, that's going to be enough.
So, ask me a question and see what happens to you. So for our questions today. So feel free to send me something to overthink. I'm ready.
We're ready for it.
Are you ready to do some Y factor?
Let's do some Y factor.
All right. What are you not liking?
Okay. Well, Mandy and I were both traveling this past week. So lots of time in an airport. So what I'm not loving are the food options in airports.
Oh, okay.
You guys, listen, salad vending machine. What are we doing, folks?
Yeah. Okay.
Get it out. All of these random, like, no named restaurants. Listen, give me a Chick-fil-A, give me a Whataburger, give me a McDonald's, something normal. I need something quick that I can eat before a flight or take on the flight that doesn't smell horrendous. Stop putting Chinese restaurants. Stop putting these nasty pizza places. Listen, I have lots of thoughts and feelings about it. We were in there for a long time with children that needed to eat, and it just was not great. It wasn't great. Right. St. Louis, I'm looking at you.
Oh, she came directly for you. Yeah, I did go to that airport last year.
It's not great. It's not great.
Yeah, you ought to check out the like Destin or Panama City, either one of their airports. It's about the size of your closet, and you're going to oversell the flights because I don't understand how that's even a thing. This isn't even my dislike, y'all. This is not my wife, but
we just have opinions.
I just don't understand overselling flights.
I will never get it. How did you not know how many seats there were?
The concept does not make a bit of sense to me.
I don't get it.
I was on a flight yesterday. They delayed us 35 minutes to try to kick 6 people off the flight, offering them all. The guy next to me ended up doing it, got $1,400.
Yeah, they did that when we were coming back from Hawaii. And I was like, listen,
we had to wait. Go home. Like, we couldn't leave the ground. We couldn't get in the air because you sold too many seats.
That's too much. Listen, I'll get off the flight, but it's going to cost you $5,000.
Listen, I was considering it. Well, I started considering it. They were offering $550, and I was like, well, I could do this. Right. But I was going to have to stay overnight, and they were not offering accommodations. They said, oh, you can just stay in the hotel, in the airport.
Oh, no, thank you.
No, I'm going to spend that amount of money for a hotel room.
Right. I realize I'm not a celebrity, but I am not sleeping in a airport.
Don't belittle me that much. But when I found out he got $1,400, I was like, wait, are there more? Are there?
You need me to get off the flight?
No, we're good. We're taking off. Great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Well, what are you going to go with not liking this week? I feel like you've probably got options.
Man, let me think. Gosh, so many. Actually, it's a product this week.
Okay.
And I don't know this. I do not have a filter on this, so you can't really tell. But right here, well, yeah, you can. See this little fella right here?
Uh-huh.
For audio, I have a zit on my chin. So I invested some money in a beauty product.
Okay.
And it is called, I'm going to have to call them out. It is from the lushbeautybar.com.
Okay.
And it is called a blemish control bar. And it is like a little tube of stuff, that you, whatever. Yeah. Because I don't really struggle with acne anymore. I mean, I'm 41. And I've had a hysterectomy, so I don't have like a lot of hormone raging things going on. But what I do have is like bumpy skin. I don't know if that's the way to say it. I don't know if you were like right next to me, if you could see it. We'll check in November. I'll let you take it.
Okay.
But like when I rub my hands on my face, I can feel it being bumpy.
Yes.
But every like acne product you look for is about like, controlling my zits and like, but that's not, I'm like, I don't need that. So I had done some research and I had read about this blemish control bar was really for like smoothing skin. And it talked about the same issue I was facing. So I got this $48 for a little tube that is about, note for the audio, maybe 2 inches tall. Okay. Not a lot in here. They say you don't need a lot, but if you're going to cover your whole face, you do need some amount. $48. Now I have acne. Now I have zits. So
listen,
I went on their, now listen, I've got my burner accounts, as you know about. So I went on their Twitter and I tweeted at them about this, that I was upset that I spent this money and now I've got a breakout. So like, what's the story? And can I get my money back? No. If the container has been opened and the seal is broken, you cannot get your money back. These people had the nerve to tell me, though, that it was because it's bringing out all the iniquities from my face. And I replied and asked if a manager could respond to my DM and not an intern. I did not get any more messages in return, but iniquities is not the appropriate word.
No, not so much.
But anyway, so listen, I get it. Facial products are different for everyone. For some people, it may be manna to your face, and maybe it is everything you need. Me, I now have little Carlos on my chin.
You know what you need?
Oh, tell me.
You need salicylic acid. Just get the ordinary serum. It's $7 for a bottle. Use it. It's so
cheap. I feel like I should spend $700 to get anything.
Listen, if I have learned anything with skincare now, as I've aged in my 30s, I started realizing I should probably take care of my skin, that I put in a tanning bed way too much. Mm-hmm. I have learned you don't need to get the expensive stuff. The ordinary, I love their line of products. Now, there are some things that I'll buy a more expensive brand of just because it's worked better for me, but try them out.
Well, as soon as Carlos is gone, I'm going to have to do something new. So, and listen again, maybe a blemish control bar from Lush Beauty Bar will work perfect for you. I don't know. But for me today, I'm mad about it because I don't ever have zits. And I just went to the beach. And so I'm really tan right now. So I don't want to have to wear makeup. Right. But I got Carlos.
Right. We gotta cover
something. I mean, for those of you watching, I don't have any on right now. That's why you can see Carlos. But anyway, what are you liking on a positive note?
Well, this week I'm really liking, I have two. One that I put down and one that happened last night. Rasheed Rice helping out my fantasy football team.
Okay.
I was not projected to win, and it does appear that I will be winning this week. So
there you go.
All thanks to him. So that's one thing. But also DirecTV got their contracts all figured out. Right. Football is back on my TV. I don't have to do all these random services. Yeah. So that made me real happy. Trying to flip between DirecTV for something, Fubo for another thing, Hulu for an Amazon Prime for I can't. It's too much.
Yeah.
It's too much for my brain to do right now.
Yeah. It really is. It's we've talked about it before on here. What was the total? Wasn't it like if you wanted to catch every NFL game this season, wasn't it like $800 or something?
For the year, yeah.
For a season that's not even a full year?
Listen, I appreciated the DirecTV when you would go to ABC or ESPN or SEC Network. It would be a black screen that would say Disney does not want you to enjoy the views on this channel. And I was like, wow. You guys are really throwing each other into the bus.
Yeah. I know life is about making money. I don't care what industry you're in.
Right.
It's all about making money. But do we have to be? It's like you're being mean.
Right.
Like, what did I do to you? Like, I don't understand. Well, I have 2 this week as well. I don't like to be confined, but one of them is another beauty product, though.
Okay.
I mean, am I becoming a beauty influencer?
Listen, it sounds like it.
I mean, it's a new me, new you, new day. I don't know.
All in life.
I'm also trying to pull up my other one because I cannot. It's like the name of what I'm going to tell you on the next one is completely left. Okay, yeah, I got it. Okay, so I use the Davines line of hair products. If you look at the spelling, it really looks like it spells Davine. It's like Davines. Okay. One of my best friends from high school owns a salon back home in Little Rock. Carter Miller. She's fantastic. She's like a world-renowned colorist with their group now. She travels the world. Listen.
Okay.
Stories I could tell, but I love her to death. Anyway, in her salon, they use the product. So I've been using the shampoo and conditioner for, I don't know, I was in Little Rock 4 years, I guess. So all that time. Love it. Smells great, whatever. But right before I moved away, she introduced me to their texture spray. Now,
tell me about this.
Okay, so here's the thing. I'm from the South. I believe the bigger the hair, the closer to Jesus.
Preach it.
I am not someone who straightens their hair and likes it that's not me. If you don't watch this on YouTube and you don't know me, I like big hair. I have naturally curly hair, and until about 2020, I always wore it naturally curly. Now I never wear it naturally curly. But I have it's weird. I have thick hair, but it's thin. I don't know if that makes sense.
It does.
Some people are like, what? But I have a lot
of it.
I should say, I don't have thick hair. I have a lot of hair that's thin.
Yeah.
And so when I don't wear my hair naturally curly, and I use the, I don't know how you say it. It's like L' like ANGE straightener thingy.
Oh yeah.
Or whatever, long. Yeah. I use that to do my little, whatever I try to attempt to do to my hair. I'm really not good at doing my hair, but it works. But it always made it real straight. And I have always felt like if my hair was completely straight, it made me look fatter.
Okay.
So I don't like that. So that's why I like big hair. This texture spray is fantastic because every other texture spray that I have tried is either sticky or gummy or next day hair, no bueno. It's like it would be matted where I had used it in the next day. And if I tried to brush through it, it just did not work well. And so I would inevitably just have to wash my hair again, or I would just not use the texture spray. And it was a whole thing. I'd just be mad. Okay. This is fantastic. I did, however, learn this weekend on my trip that I have been using it incorrectly.
I need you to explain how you were using it and then explain the correct way. I need to know.
So this is again, I am new to being a beauty influencer, but this is a dry texturizing finishing spray.
Yeah.
Okay. My friends found it very funny that it has the word finishing in it, and I didn't realize this.
Wait, were you putting this in wet hair?
No, and I wasn't that stupid. Oh. Becca, come on. Golly. No. So apparently the appropriate order is to use your hairspray first and then your texture spray.
Yeah.
Well, sure. Act like you knew that. That's fine. Great. Whatever.
That's how I do mine.
Yeah. Well, that's because it's what you're supposed to do, Becca, because it's called a finishing spray, as my friend said all weekend. I didn't know that. I mean, I knew it was called that. I didn't know it meant that. So what would happen is, like yesterday, I dried my hair. And before I got it to where I was going to start poofing it, I did my texture spray and poofed. And then I did my hairspray. To which my friend said to me, what the hell are you doing? And I was like, I'm doing my hair. Does it not look good? And she was like, you just did that in the wrong order. Are you drunk or something? And note the audio, I was not. I didn't drink. I'm like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. She's like, Mandy, it's called finishing spray. It's what you do at the end. And I was like, oh. So I didn't know that. But I don't know if you can tell today. I did it in the correct order, and I do feel like it looks better.
It looks a little bit different today.
Looks better.
I'm going to be honest with you. I've always done hairspray and then the finishing spray, the texture spray at the end. But I guess I didn't actually think that it would make a difference if I flip-flopped the two. I just assumed it would do the same thing. But apparently.
This looks different today, and I like it better.
Okay.
This is second day hair.
Listen, I have just gotten into the realm of texture and volumizing.
Well, we're beauty influencers now.
That's right. That's the world we're living in. I had bought one. I don't even know what the brand is now. IGK maybe? I'm not sure. But I heard rave things, tried it, don't love it. I don't feel like it does stuff. I had a little travel size of the Verb Volume Dry Spray.
Mm-hmm.
Obsessed. So I will be buying a big one of that. And I think I'm going to have to try the one that you just mentioned.
Yeah, I'll send you the link. So you can get it at Sephora. It is also available at Amazon. It's about $35 on Amazon, $41, I think, in the store. What I will say about the Davines, because in my head I want to say Divines, the Davines product line, I love it. It all smells really great, but it's not like, I can't stand hair products that smell like vanilla.
Yeah.
Because I don't have cookies in my hair. Like, I don't like that. I also don't think I like things that are very woodsy smell.
No.
Ugh. I don't know how to explain this. This is not like a fresh linen smell. It's not that, but it just smells clean.
Just fresh. Okay.
Yeah. And so I really like that. But I will say about the products, I love them all. They have a line of shampoo and conditioner. I love it all. Only this product do they have in a travel size.
Okay.
So thank God, because otherwise I can't fly with it, obviously.
That's right. That's a whole other thing.
Anyway, huge shout out to that, but apparently now I need to do a different order. But the second thing I wanted to say, I downloaded a couple of episodes of a new show and started watching it on my flights down to my trip. The Perfect Couple.
Okay. I've heard this. I have not watched any of it.
Okay. So I don't find myself having enough time to get into a series right now, which is, again, how I've never understood your ability to still be committed to Grey's Anatomy.
Because it's the only thing I'm committed to.
Apparently. It's got Nicole Kidman and, I don't know how you say his name, Liev Schreiber or whatever. I'm only on episode like 2.5 at this point. It's real good.
Okay.
It's real good. I totally recommend it. It's got like intrigue, but it's got, you know, I love those family drama kind of shows.
Yes.
Maybe I just feel like I fit in. I don't know.
I understand it.
There's a lot of like, it's one of those shows where I feel like you could have like 12 spinoffs because each person's character is so well developed.
Oh.
And that is my favorite kind of series, is when each character, I don't like useless characters in a show. When you've got a show that you've got some characters that like, we didn't really need them, they're just written into it, that irks me. Like, why are we wasting time even having them? So when every character is so well developed, I love it. Here's another interesting thing though. I don't like Nicole Kidman at all.
No.
Never have. Probably one of my least favorite actresses.
Okay.
Might be a spicy take. She's phenomenal in this.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's on Netflix, and I guess I'm late to the show. It's like number 2 or 1 in the world right now on Netflix. I didn't even know. The only reason I found it was the girl next to me on my flight on Thursday was like, "Hey, you should check out this show. That's what I'm watching." And I was like, "Okay." It was 5 o'clock in the morning. What else was I going to watch?
Right.
So
what else are we going to do?
But it's actually really good. It's got some mystery to it, but there's a little bit of romance, but not. Now I will say it's not Hallmark romance. So
understood.
Not to attack, not to offend, but anyway, it's really good though. You should check it out.
Okay.
I don't know if you'll have time with your 487
I don't know.
episodes of Grey's Anatomy, but
I got a lot on my plate right now with Hallmark's about to be holidays, the football season's in full effect, and Grey's Anatomy's coming back on.
Have you started this the summer show that I told you to watch?
Well, thank you guys. We have hit our limit for recording today.
She's never gonna do it. All right, that's all I've got. You got anything else?
I think that's it. Lord,
all right.
That's our content.
Yep. Thanks for tuning in. We're going to be changing up when we record, so it'll be more like this probably going forward.
Record on Monday, release it on Tuesday.
Anyway, y'all have a great week. Thanks for listening.
Bye, y'all.